What up, peeps? In this video, I'm going to talk to you about this week's assignment, which is Introduction to AET Record Books. So, in this assignment, it's just kind of a basic introduction to record books, to some of the terms that we use. If you've never been in ag before or you've never done a record book, some of these terms might kind of seem like we're speaking a different language. So we're going to go through those. And then the biggest chunk of this assignment is we're going to go through and we're actually going to create a plan and a budget for your real life SAE that you're going to do in class. If you don't have an SAE yet, I would stop now and talk to your ag teacher, whoever it is. Darn it. If you don't have an SAE yet, I would stop now and talk to your ag teacher, and they will help you brainstorm some kind of an SAE that works really good for you. Remember, last week's assignment was all about the different types of SAEs, so you have lots of options. We just need to find something that works for you. So make sure you've chosen an actual SAE to actually do this year before you continue this assignment. So first thing that we're going to do, we're going to kind of brainstorm some things that you think are important to keep track of. That's the purpose of record books, is to keep track of stuff. So what kind of stuff do you keep track of in your real life? Some people keep track of how many glasses of water they drink every day. Some people keep track of like calories. Some people keep track of their screen time on their phone. If you are a gamer, sometimes you might keep track of whatever your objective is in that video game. But what kinds of things do you actually keep track of in your real life? And then you're going to type those into these little thought bubbles. If you want to add more, you can totally add more. That's fine too. Then we're going to brainstorm some other stuff. So if you owned a grocery store, what do you think would be important to keep track of? So remember, you own the grocery store. So do you maybe need to keep track of inventory, of money, of employees? I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff. So think of at least 3 things. If you want to add more, absolutely, go for it. But think of some stuff. Then think about if you were an athlete. Pick just whatever sport. You could be a golfer, a football player, basketball star, whatever. Think of some stuff that you would want to keep track of. And then if you were trying to raise money for a charity, what would be some important things that you're gonna write down, that you're gonna keep track of somewhere? So after you do that, after you think up those things, you are going to watch this video. So you just click on this link, click on that, and it's going to take you here if it loads. You only have to watch this video up until 5 minutes and 30 seconds. You do not need to watch all 21 minutes. That's crazy. So just watch up to 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Or if you prefer, there's also this transcribed version of it. Transcribed just means I took all the words that he says in the video and just wrote them down. Easy peasy. So if you want to listen to the video and watch the video, that's awesome. If you would prefer to read what he says instead, this is a great option for you. But either way, you're going to watch the video and or read the transcripts, and that's going to give you the answers to some of the following questions, right? So the person in that video, and also the person who spoke the words in the transcription, his name is Roger. He's the creator of AET record books. Record books have been around for a really long time. They've taken a bunch of different forms over the years. When I was in high school, I'm super old, so I had paper record books where we wrote everything down. Then from there, record books kind of evolved. They turned into a spreadsheet for a while, an Excel spreadsheet. That one we thought was all pretty cool because it did the math for us. I didn't have to pull out my calculator anymore because you guys know I'm really bad at math. Then from there, they kind of formed like an online version, and it was okay. It was pretty cool, but it was kind of quirky. And then AET was created, and AET by far is my favorite record book version to this date. So that guy absolutely knows what he's talking about when he's talking about record books, because he created what are the new record books. So you're going to answer some of the questions. It's going to talk a little bit about time, a little bit about money. Then we're going to talk about some of the key terms that we use for our AET record books specifically. So click on this link again, and it will take you to this. So some kind of general terms. These terms right here, so item number 1, general ag ed terms, these should be a review for you if you did last week's assignment on the types of SAEs, besides POA. We didn't talk about POA or supplemental SAEs, but if you'd like to read through those, that's awesome. So the star of the show for this week's assignment are item number 2, which is AET menu terms, and also 3, which is financial terms. So you're going to read through these, look at the definitions, look at some of the examples. The examples are especially going to help you when you're creating your plan and your budget for your real life SAEs. So check these out. It's also really important to know these symbols. So online in the record book, for example, your AET experience or Experience Manager, also known as, it'll say Experience Manager, but it will also have this symbol. So if you know what the symbols are and you know what the names are, you're going to be able to find things very, very easily in your record book. So you're going to go through that, and then you're going to fill in this chart. So for AET Experience, what's the definition? You are going to put the definition in your own words. Do not copy and paste the definition. Make it your own. Put it in words that you understand, that's easy for you to remember. So what is an AET experience? What's a profile? What is a journal? What is this reviewing journal? Right? All that stuff. So you're going to fill out the chart for all of those. Then you're going to match the symbols. So to match the symbols, you're just going to draw a line. So you can come up here, insert a line. You can do arrows if you want. You can get all fancy with however you want to do it. If you have a paper packet, some of the things I've showed you might be a teeny tiny bit different, but it's super easy for you guys. Just draw a line. So for example, if you think this symbol right here, this FFA emblem with the little stopwatch, if you think that is AET finances, that's awesome. Draw a line right there, right? If you think this little gear with the pencil is your competitions, AET FFA competitions journal, you just draw a line right there, right? Hint, hint, everything on this side, so everything on the left side of the column of pictures matches to over here, the left side of the slide. Everything on the right side of the column of pictures is on the right side over here. Made it easy for you guys. Okay, then we're going to do the exact same thing for the financial terms. These are the ones that really might be a foreign language for you guys. For example, capital item, you're like, wait, what is that? Do you capitalize the first letter of the item? No, it's a little bit different than that. Type the definitions in your own words, please. We're not going to worry about the symbols right now for these. So, planning. Now is when you are going to think about your actual SAE. So think about your actual SAE. Think about the things that you watched in the video or read in that transcription of the video, and write down 3 things that you think are important to plan and start before you start your project. So if money is involved, I don't know, maybe that might be one of them. But what specifically about money, right? So think about 3 things. You can either write your answer, or you could draw a picture or copy and paste a picture if you're doing this through Google Classroom. Either is fine. We're going to pick 3 things. Budgeting. So budgeting, remember, is planning out your money. So you're thinking about everything that you might possibly spend money on, and you're writing down how much money you think you're going to spend that on. So for example, I have a monthly budget. I'm a total nerd, and I play Magic the Gathering, which is a card game. I budget a certain amount of money every month to spend on those cards for myself. And I try and stay within that budget. I try not to go over that budget. Some people budget for gas. Some people budget for groceries. Some people budget for how much money they can spend on video games every month, right? But think about, why is it important to budget? What kind of things could happen maybe if you start something before you budget, all that good stuff. Okay, so now we're really going to get into the nitty-gritty of your SAEs. So think about what type of SAE you have. Is it foundational or immersion? If you're not sure what those are, look back at last week's assignment. Remember when we read through that SAE for All student guide. So what type of SAE do you have? Because that's going to affect the things that you plan for. If it's an immersion SAE, what category? Right? So is it an internship or placement? So where you have a job, either paid or unpaid. Is it ownership, entrepreneurship, where you own something or you have your own business? Research, remember, is basically like a science experiment. School-based, you're doing something for the school or with the school. And then service learning is kind of like community service. So type what it is here. That's important to know because, again, that's going to change what you're planning for your SAEs. Okay, so for the following slides, you do not have to do every single slide. Please, please, please do not do every single slide. Oh, look, there's an anonymous leopard here with us. So if your SAE is a foundational SAE, you're only going to follow the writing prompts on slide 22. You're only going to do slide 22 if you have a foundational SAE, and then you're going to ignore the rest of these slides, completely ignore them. If you have a research SAE, you're only going to follow the writing prompts on slide 25, and you're going to ignore all the rest of them, right? So what we're going to do for this is we're going to write 4 just short paragraphs. These aren't ginormous English essays, but 4 short paragraphs either on a separate piece of paper or in a separate Google Docs. So first, find what kind of SAE you have. So let's go with, let's say, internship. Let's do an example for an internship SAE. So I'm going to go to slide 23. If you have a paper packet, I'm sorry, I don't know if I numbered the slides or not for you. But slide 23. Boop. So see, internship placement SAE writing prompts. Remember, we're going to ignore all the other ones. I just realized I did not include a link of learning objectives for you guys. My apologies. I will add that. So you're going to write 4 short paragraphs in complete sentences, please, that answer all of the following questions.